So who are certification bodies? So certification bodies are organizations that issue certifications, right? So certifications, in IT, there are certifications from traditional schools as well. So maybe if you go to Harvard, you go to whatever school, you can go do a certificate course. So maybe you want to do risk management, at maybe University of New York, right? That you have a certificate from the school, but that is not one of the industry recognized certifications. In cybersecurity, we are dealing with not just academia, but industry, cybersecurity industry, or in the IT industry. So these certification bodies, they are not schools. They are not like your typical traditional schools. They are just organizations, mostly they are all non-for-profit. They are organizations that are helping to hold the standards in cybersecurity. So what they do is they do surveys and research, over the years in the industry to identify some of the areas in the industry that needs more knowledge and skill, and they add that to like their certification objectives, right? So each of these certification bodies that we're going to talk about, we will look at the type of certifications that they administer. And with the certifications, you have to sit for an exam. When you pass it, some of it, when you pass it, automatically you get the certification. Some of it, even after passing, you still have to apply for the certification, right? We will look at all those as we go forward. So certification bodies here, just look at it as a DMV, but these are so many DMVs. So if it was possible for us to get our license from different DMVs of our choice, look at it that way. So the license that we're going to get, you can go for your training from a traditional school or from a cybersecurity school like us. That is not your traditional school. And once you have the knowledge and skill, you can go sit for any of these exams at any of these DMVs. And when you pass, you get the license to drive, pretty much. But here, it doesn't necessarily work like that. It's not because you don't need that license to drive. But if you have it, it looks good on you and it's nice, because when you come head to head with somebody who doesn't have it, they're going to pick the one who has it because it's going to look more favorable. You took the extra time, went above and beyond to get the certification, right? And if you had a certification, you also talk a little bit less, because you don't have to talk too much to prove your skills. But, it's all relative, right? So if you don't have the knowledge and skills to back it up, then you're obviously going to talk even more than the person who didn't have a certification. Because now you have to defend why you have the certification, but you don't have the knowledge and skills, right? So certification bodies, they are bodies that issue cybersecurity certifications through exams that they administer, and they have their own body of knowledge that you have to, go through. And then, if they assess you through their exams and you pass, then, they issue you their certification. So we'll look at some of the very popular certification organizations that are out there. There are a lot of them out there, right? But these are some of the most recognized and most respected within the industry. Okay? So ISC2 is one of the very first organizations that started giving out cybersecurity certifications. They started almost, I think, around early 90s. So they were the very first ones, very first one who started issuing cybersecurity certifications, right? And then we have EC Council. So EC Council, their certifications are geared towards more ethical hacking and, pen testing area, so that is where they specialize in more, EC Council. And we have CompTIA. So CompTIA is kind of the baby in certifications, because CompTIA, I think, came up, if I'm not mistaken, late 2000s or mid 2000s is when CompTIA came up, around mid 2000, I think. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But CompTIA is fairly not new, but as compared to ISC2, CompTIA is fairly new, right? And we have GIAC. So GIAC, GIAC, GIAC is by SANS. They also have a lot of certifications, but GIAC certifications are expensive. They are really expensive, right? And we have ISACA. So ISACA, they also, their specialty is in cybersecurity audits or information security audits. That is where they focus more, and risk management, right? And then we have IAPP. So IAPP, their specialty is data privacy, right? They focus, all their certifications are more focused on data privacy, right? So these are some of the most recognized. There are other certifications bodies out there. So SANS is also one of them. But SANS and GIAC, I think is like the same company that owns GIAC. So they are almost one of the same thing. Right? Now let's look at some of the certifications within these organizations, these certification bodies, right? So when we take IAAP, they have three of their topmost. We will look at it when we are moving forward individually. ISACA, they have this is their most popular certifications that are out there. So these four, I know most people are very familiar with SIM. Most people are very familiar with CISA, CRISC. Not everybody is very familiar with it. And the GEIT is also not very as popular as SIM and CISA, right? And ISC2, they have their golden boy, or golden girl, which is CISSP. CISSP has been around the longest, I think, among any of the cybersecurity certifications out there, right? And then they have, other ones that are also listed here. And then SANS, GIAC, they are the ones, who issue like the GIAC certification. And ISC2, their most popular is ethical hacker, certification. All right, so now we can take a look at it individually. So CompTIA, let's look at CompTIA first. So CompTIA has their own career path, right? CompTIA's career path, if you want to, for cybersecurity, this is their career path. Mostly, they will say you have to start from IT fundamentals and A+ and network plus, and then you write security plus before you can branch off. So security plus is like the entry level for CompTIA, right? And then you branch off into, if you want to go into infrastructure, you go through Linux, and then all these. If you want to go into cybersecurity actual, you go around this path. Please give me a minute. All right, welcome back. Sorry about that short break. So with CompTIA, Security Plus is your starting point, right? You don't necessarily need to do Network Plus. You can just start with Security Plus. And then when you branch off at the intermediate level, if you are going cybersecurity path, you can do pen test or security analyst. And then the highest that they have, the most advanced there, is the CAPS. So that is for CompTIA. Now for ISACA, we looked at their top four, but they have more than that, right? They have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. So they have around 8. Now they also have an entry level sort of certification, but mostly like the rest that they have is almost all advanced and intermediate level. So they have their cybersecurity practitioner. This is mostly like their entry level, right? But it's not as popular as Security Plus, and their SIM and CISA, these are the most popular at the advanced level, right? Now, some people will get into cybersecurity and they want to jump into and take CISA or SIM. All that is good, but make sure you have the knowledge and skills to back it up. Because if you come to my Eretmis Inc. to be an auditor, we expect you to know a lot of stuff if you're holding this certification, right? Maybe some other places not so much, but on average, if you're holding these, they assume you know certain things. So make sure you know those certain things, before you go parading around some certifications that you don't have the knowledge and skills to back it up. Okay. And ISC2. So with ISC2, CISSP is their biggest. I think CISSP probably makes them more money than any of these certifications. And under CISSP, they have different concentrations. So they have architecture, engineering, management concentration, right? And with the best part about ISC2, or not just ISC2, even with ISACA, mostly for the advanced certifications like CISA or SIM or CISSP. For CISSP, if you can write CISSP as an entry-level person, right? If you pass, they require you to have 5 years of experience. If you don't have it, they will classify you as an associate CISSP, which is also good. I mean, everybody will know that, yeah, you are starting off, but then you went above and beyond to be able to get this. And then once you pass the exams, you don't have to apply or do anything. They'll just classify you as an associate because you don't have enough experience to get the full certification. But this, I think, after working for 3 or 4 years, they will be able to, give you the full CISSP, but it still carry almost the same weight as the main CISSP. And for CISSP, as part of their qualification, if you have 1 year of, I think if you have 1 year of college, or if you have like a degree, it'll count towards as 1 year of experience, right? So that counts always. I think if you have masters, all of them will still count as 1 year or 2 years. Don't quote me on that. And they have all these other certifications as well, right? So not all of them require you to have 5 years of experience. But I know for CISSP, it requires you to have 5 years of experience. I think cloud will also require you to have their CCSP, but the SSCP does not require you to have 5 years of experience. I stand to be corrected. So this is for ISACA. So these are some of the certifications within, no, not ISACA, for ISC2, right? For ISC2, these are some of the certifications on there. Now for GIAC from SANS, these are some of their certifications out here. But mostly for them, their certifications, you cannot just take their exam. You have to go through their training first. And so mostly it comes as a bundle. And I know for the GPen, for the pen testing is about $8,000 to go through that class. So mostly, guess who is their biggest customer? The government. So the government will pay for people within the government to get these certifications. So if your office approves you, then you can get it. Some of them, I think they are not that expensive, but I know for the pen test one, it is very expensive. It's about 8,000 plus. So this is for yeah. Now, if we look at IAPP, these are IAPP. Their main concentration is on data privacy. So they have the CIPP, the CIPM, and the CIPT. Okay, so this is their topmost 3 that we put on here. Now, mostly IAPP is not very common. Like IAPP certifications are not very common. You wouldn't see it, anywhere. You probably have to be in the industry for a little bit to see it around and ask people, what is that? For you to know that even IAPP is there. Yeah, IAPP is not as popular as the other ones that we just looked at. Okay. Now, if you do a little comparison on the intermediate, entry level, and advanced certifications, just using CompTIA, ISC Square, and ASACA, we have Security Plus from CompTIA as for an entry level for somebody starting off. We have SSCP for somebody starting off for ISC2, and then for ISACA, we have the CX fundamentals for somebody starting off. Now for intermediate, CISA, I don't really consider CISA as intermediate. CISA is more kind of on the same level as SIM. So CISA and SIM, they are at the same level, so they are advanced. You can also have it, both of them at intermediate, right? For ISC2, they have these ones at intermediate and CISSP as advanced. And then for CompTIA, they have Pentest Plus and Cybersecurity Analyst Plus as intermediate, and advanced, they have the CAPS Plus. So mostly the advanced certifications, they focus more on managerial, operational aspect of cybersecurity and leadership aspect of cybersecurity. So out of these three certifications, this is the most technical. CompTIA's certifications are all very technical. They are very low, they are very light on the managerial and leadership side. Even for CAPS Plus is a bit technical than CISSP and SIM. SIM is very managerial. So if you have some managerial skills from elsewhere, if you have a little bit cybersecurity knowledge, you'll be able to scale SIM. Right? CISA, you probably have to have some auditing or accounting background to have a little cybersecurity knowledge to be able to scale it. But CISA is also heavy on auditing, right? And then they throw in some cybersecurity managerial and leadership aspect of it as well. Okay, so this is just a little overview of these certifications. So these are not all the certifications that are there, but I mean, these are some of the very, very popular